Hello, this is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I'm here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. Put your questions in the comments now so that I can answer those questions. Just coming on here to give you a reminder, the Parole in Place program for spouses of citizens and for stepchildren and children of citizens kicks off August 19th, 2024, as they release instructions about where to file, what forms to file. I'll definitely, keep you informed. Uh, now, also make sure that you schedule an appointment so that we can hit the ground running for you. We're experienced with Parole in Place because even though it's expanded to spouses of citizens, we have represented clients in the limited Parole in Place process, but now they're expanding it. So we are very experienced with it and we know what to do to get going. So schedule your appointment at any time. I say though, before it kicks off, see if you can get in. Our schedules are filling up. We now have a third attorney who is assisting us to make sure that we are helping as many immigrants as possible. We hit a new record for the firm, and that is that we have helped in this month, and we're not even done with the month, 160 immigrants in the past month. So that tells you how many appointments that we are working with to be able to assist our clients. So go ahead, make sure that you get on it, you schedule your appointment so that we can work. In the election as well, there's a lot of energy, a lot of hope. So those of you, we now see that Biden has dropped out of the election. So, he is putting country first, and he decided that it was in the best interest of the country for him to step back and for Kamala Harris to take over. There's a lot of energy. So I am getting myself ready to go vote. If you are a US citizen and you want to make sure that we can solidify a good future for all of us, for women, for people of color, for immigrants, for the benefits that immigrants have brought and are still bringing to this country. Please make sure that you vote. I went ahead, checked my voter registration, made sure everything was in place and is in place and ready for me to vote. So make sure you do the same. If you are a new citizen, make sure you're registered to vote. Make sure you go vote. If you are already a citizen, make sure, if you haven't registered, please register. It makes a difference. There's a lot of energy. We have to keep that energy up. We have to back whoever they're going to nominate. Looks like Kamala, but whoever they put in, they have the same agenda as Biden. They're going to have that same agenda. They're going to be much better than what we are seeing in Project 2025. And even though Trump has denied that he's affiliated with Project 2025, keep in mind that lying is a part of what he does. He does it very easily without any kind of qualms about that. So he will easily try to tell you that he's not with Project 2025, but the authors and designers of Project 2025 works closely with him in his administration and are getting ready to join him in implementing these. And by the way, the agenda in 2020, Project 2025, is not far off from what he's already spouting, especially when it comes to immigration, but also women's rights. The women's rights, immigrant rights. These are just examples of things that the rights that they're going to take away, they aim to take away in Project 2025. So I say any Democratic candidate is going to be a much better bet than Trump. But right now we're seeing that Kamala Harris is the person that is going to looks like she's going to be the front runner, and we need to back her here, right? So I'm using this platform also because to tell you this: if you're a citizen, you have relatives who are citizens, you have friends who are citizens. I'm telling you this because it's important that we have this, that we come with this energy. It's very important because a lot is on the line here. All right. So I brought up a lot of heavy stuff now. I am going to go ahead and answer some questions for you today. So please go ahead, put your questions in the comments now so I can answer your questions. So are you taking questions? Yes, put those questions in the comments. If a person is an illegal immigrant and a deportation order is in place for you to get deported, can I get parole in place if one should marry his soldier girlfriend? Yes. Now, parole in place, yes. If you are in removals or you have a deportation order, you can still get parole in place. They have reminded us that it is discretionary, so we have to make sure that we can put forth why they should exercise favorable discretion. But absolutely. Now, keep in mind that you have to show for this process, you have to show that you've been married to your US citizen spouse on or before June 17, 2024. In your case, if you marry your military member spouse, keep in mind that we would definitely have, it makes it a little more complicated that you have the deportation order, but it is possible to get the parole in place. And you don't have to show, by the way, that you've been married. If you get married today, after June 17, 2024, you can still qualify for the parole in place. So get in touch with us. We have to do a little bit more work, but it's absolutely possible. Good. Harris is the person. Absolutely, Karen. I agree with you 100%. I'm really excited. I'm excited at the energy. It reminds me of 2008 when Obama was running. Remember, that was some individuals were saying he could never win. Well, we did it. Yes, we can. That was a slogan, and we can do it again. So let's keep the energy up. Great information to give, and keep telling people to vote when you can. Love your mindset. Absolutely. Yes. And those of you, please make sure that I don't know the deadline to register to vote, but it's not too late to even apply for citizenship. Go for citizenship if you want to be a part of this process. Do not vote if you're not a US citizen, by the way. That can be devastating. But please make sure that still go for it, because you could possibly be a citizen in 2 months, and they may not in your state may not pass the deadline to register to vote. I don't know what the deadline is, but don't assume that there's a deadline. Check yourself to make sure there's a deadline. I would like to know if my son can come for my daughter's burial. I'm so sorry, condolences. They take away his visa. Do you think they will let him come anyways if I start a file? So it depends. If your son is 21 or older, unfortunately, it's a 5 to 7 year process. You can always apply again for an emergency visa, but it depends on why they revoked the visa in the first place. So there would be a lot of questions there. But sometimes you can ask for an emergency visa. If he's inadmissible, you may be able to apply for a waiver to allow him to come for the funeral. I'm so sorry though. And if you need any help, always, get in touch with us. About life insurance for couples, which of them is good to have where fund is limited, the US citizen or the applicant? So, what I have seen, which, I've successfully argued against, but what I've seen is whenever the whoever is paying, they like to ask in RFEs, who is paying for this benefit. If it's the immigrant that's paying for it and they see that immigrant is paying for everything and the US citizen just gets to tag along, they tend to be a little more skeptical about the bona fides. I mean, I've successfully argued and changed their minds on it, but it doesn't stop them from challenging the applicant on the bona fides of the marriage, where they see that the immigrant is the one paying for everything. The immigrant is paying all the bills, the immigrant is paying for life insurance. Then they get a little more skeptical because they don't see a balance between the spouses paying for certain benefits. So if you have a US citizen sibling, can she file for your green card, seeing that you are living in the USA? She can apply for a petition, but it's 14 years to get to the green card. And if you're already living in the US and you overstayed, there are slim chances that you'll be able to, first of all, you still have to wait the 14 years, but even after that, you're not allowed to stay here and get the green card. You'll have to qualify for special waiver just to go back to your country and get the immigrant visa at the embassy to come back in. So it's a lot more complex and it's a long process. So it's not going to be an immediate thing. Um, so if you're having technical difficulties, make sure you call the office and speak to staff. If I've been here since I was 17, I'm 29, can I get my work permit? So it depends. I've gotten work permits for my clients, but I have to know what your circumstances are. Work permits are linked to certain immigration benefits you get based on what your circumstances are. I came here 2019. I have a citizen baby. Can I get a work permit? Not just based on having a US citizen baby. That baby has to be 21 years old, so that child has to grow into a 21-year-old and then file for you. And along the way, you can get the work permit. So it's a long wait, but get in touch with us. Let's talk about your circumstances because there are alternatives. You'll hear me say it a lot that there are alternatives. If you get your travel documents, how long does it take to get the green card? And do you have to go for interviews? They may waive the interview. Travel document doesn't determine when you get the green card. It depends on what kind of green card you're applying for, but if it's family based, through a spouse or immediate relative, as US citizen immediate relative, you could be seeing it in 10 to 12 months in the mail, but it depends. We've been waiting. Can I apply? This is where we need to talk to you. I think you're talking about parole in place. Let's talk to you in a consultation. We've been waiting for our interview. Where do we stand now? So it depends on what kind of interview you're waiting on. Um, I've been here. Can I get a work permit? So you've been here for a while. Can you get a work permit? Maybe. We have to talk to you. I ask, so when I'm in the consultation, there are multiple ways to get your papers. And what I do in the appointment is I look at whether you can fall within the one of those ways. There are 21 ways to get the green card. And along with that, some of those ways include you getting the work permit, but we have to understand your circumstances to figure out where you fall to get that work permit. I came to America in 2006, so I think that comment is linked to the same. Can you get a work permit? And it's not just based on how long you've been here, but when you've been here that long, you've been through some stuff, and we've been able to get our clients relief based on the kinds of things they've been through. So what position can one hold in a church to file for adjustment of status? So usually you are able to get an R1 visa, and then through that visa, while you're working in that position, which it has to just be uh, a religious position, so within the church or within the religious organization. And then from there, usually they can file adjustment of status through that. Now, when we're talking about employment based visas, it doesn't have to be you don't have to have a specific position. It's either skilled or unskilled labor, so it depends on that, and then they determine what category you apply for. How long does it take to get marriage-based work permit after submitting? About 3 months. Can I file for VAWA while concurrent I-130 and I-485 is pending? Absolutely. This is what we do. You can switch your process. And when you switch, it means you're taking the spouse out of the process. They don't even notify the spouse about that. It's confidential. What they do is just hold your adjustment of status in place, your work permit in place, your travel document in place. They put it on hold, meaning you can keep working on your work permit, keep traveling on your travel document. And then we file a petition, a VAWA petition, and then we go ahead and tell them, please link this already pending I-485 to the VAWA petition instead, and the work permit and the travel document. And then that keeps your papers going while the VAWA is being processed. I'm going to file for VAWA. Give us a call. We can help you with that. How long does it take for a military PIP to be approved? So 3 to 6 months. Hi there. Good evening, Alton. Nice to see you. All right. My I-130 petition on EAD approved 3 months ago, but travel document I-131 and I-485 still pending. Unfortunately, that's normal. Congrats on the EAD approval, but sometimes they want to issue the EAD quickly, and that, because of that, it tends to put a hold on the travel document, but that's going to probably come through separately. I filed for in 2021. How long would I have to wait for, please? It depends on who filed for you. Uh, I'm I'm a citizen. My mother is out of status from last 20 years. Can I apply and she get approved for the green card? If you are 21 or older, you are a US citizen. Yes. Now, if your parent is out of status because they entered the country without permission, we'd have to look at options because she may not be allowed to stay and get the green card, but it depends on what her circumstances are. So it all depends. But if you are age 21 or older, your parent entered with a visa and then overstayed, then yes, she can get the green card while being here. Can I apply for my citizenship without getting married? Now, you may be saying, can you apply for your residency? Remember, residency is different from citizenship. And speaking of voting, for example, a US citizen can vote, a resident cannot. So you want to make sure you know the difference because you don't want to be filling out any job applications or any paperwork saying you're a US citizen. That is a disaster waiting to happen. So, can you get your papers, your work permit, your residency without getting married? Yes, you can. I don't know if you in particular can. That's where we have to talk to you in a consultation. But we've done that for our clients, and they've not had to depend on anybody to get their papers. My I-130 petition and EAD approved 3 months ago, so I answered that. I received email for evidence over 2 months and no update. Yes, just as long as you responded, then sometimes it takes them time. I'd say 2 to 4 months to get a response. I have a friend that has been here for 27 years and she has filed years ago and she was denied. It depends. I don't know what kind of case she filed, and it really depends on what the case was and then why was she denied. Where are you located? We are located in Boca Raton. We also have our office in Delray Beach. So, but even though we're located there, we're based here, we represent clients all around the country and the world. No matter where you are in the country or around the world, we can help you. I'm from the Caribbean. Is it a good time or season I can get my American visa? So it all depends on your qualifications. After my marriage, how soon can I apply for work permit, social? After you apply for adjustment of status, so there's nothing that says you can't apply for that right after marriage. You want to make sure you have legal guidance on whether it's a good time for you based on your circumstances. But right after marriage, if that works, based on the facts, you can apply for it, and then with the adjustment of status, you apply for the work permit and the work permit, the social security comes with the work permit approval. If I can't get a letter from X to verify child support, is there another way to prove that I paid? So if you have records showing that you paid, that would be great. So if you sent money, you have those records. If you're paying through some kind of state system, then you could get a statement there. So it just depends on how you paid, and then getting that on paper. I've been approved for I-130, but I have an order of deportation to qualify. So the parole in place, yes, you can still qualify for parole in place. That will fix your situation if you enter the country illegally. And at that point, you can go for. Now, keep in mind, the parole in place is for individuals who entered the country illegally or without permission. It's a way to allow these individuals, the spouses of US citizens, to fix that situation, to get right, get their permission to stay here, and then be able to apply for adjustment of status. So, if you have deportation, you can still do it as long as you can, in the past, you entered without permission. How can you get in touch with me? If you scroll to the top of the comments on TikTok, you will be able to see the phone number, or you can go to the link in the profile. Go to the link in the profile on Instagram, on Facebook, on Facebook, YouTube, it's in the description of the video, the link, and on TikTok, it's link in bio. Go ahead, you'll see everything you need there. On the website, you can click on the contact us. You'll see everything that you need to get in touch with us there as well. Now, what I'm gonna do is use this nifty tool on TikTok as well. I can get your information there. If you want to fill it out, we'll call you back as well. So I'm gonna put it up. It's gonna be up for 30 seconds, and I'll keep repeating. You can fill it out, and when you fill it out, we'll get that information and then contact you to schedule. If you have a VAWA, so it's up right now, go ahead and fill it out. If you have VAWA case, can you travel on your combo card to home country for emergency? Yes, yes, you can, absolutely, as long as you have the travel permit on your card. Can a green card holder file for immigrant spouse? Yes, but if your spouse is out of status, just keep in mind that there's maybe a different process involved. So we'd have to know what the circumstances are. It's possible, but there may be a two-step process to follow. Have pending asylum, but got green card from marriage. Can I renew home passport, not for home travel? So this is a tricky one because you got your green card through marriage, but then you also have a pending asylum. So, the asylum, you should be able, and I'm not your attorney, so it just depends on, it depends on a lot of things. But now you have your green card, you don't need to have asylum anymore, so it may be a matter of withdrawing the asylum or canceling it because you already have your green card. The thing about this though is that you have to, the information you submitted on your asylum application, they can always revisit it based on your actions, determine whether that asylum application was fraudulent or there was untrue information on it, and it could compromise your green card. So this is a hard situation, and it really depends on what's in that asylum application, and so forth. So definitely get legal advice about how to move forward here. Thanks for sharing the live. I appreciate it. Uh, I got married back in 2021, but the ages are wrong. Can that affect when I want to start the process? So I'm not sure where the ages are wrong. Is it on the marriage certificate? You should get it corrected. But I wouldn't be able to advise further unless I understand in what context are you talking about the ages. Does NVC act on tips reported to them? So they may pass this on to the embassy because the NVC serves as a middle person. So it's like a middle person between the petitioners and the embassy. So they'll send it to the embassy. The embassy officer would see it there. I'm from the Caribbean. Is this a good time or season to get a visa? It's going to depend on your qualifications. If you have a follow-up answer that, let me see. How long it takes for my two kids, age 17 and 19, to get a green card. So if you're a green card holder, I would say about 2.5 years. If you're a US citizen, they're here in the US, could be under a year. If they're outside of the US, I'd say 2 years. What's your thoughts on mail order brides? I don't really have an opinion right now on that. If a case is already approved, how to apply to have the person come here? I'll wait for the interview. So I would say another year and a half after the approval. I got married back in 2021, but the ages are wrong. Okay, so we still have to figure out what age is where. So put your questions in the comments. My name is Michael. I got married April 17, 2024 in Nigeria. How do I bring my wife? So you'll have to file the I-130 petition. Once the I-130 petition is approved, it gets sent to the NVC. That serves as a middle people between the embassy and you as a petitioner. And then they will send all the documentation to the embassy. The embassy will schedule an interview, and from there, give your spouse a visa, special visa, immigrant visa, to enter the US. Once they enter the US, they become a green card holder. Please, what is combo authorization? It's when you have the travel document and your work permit on one card. Thanks for the follow. Yes, we can. Absolutely. I can't wait. Keep that energy going. Yes, we can. Absolutely. Is it worth to move a spouse application from one country to another? Um, it depends on what kind of application. And sometimes, if you can't show you're a resident of that country, they may not allow you to do that. So you have to be careful with that process. I got married back in 2021, but the age is so we still have to figure out what age is. Um, how does the NVC schedule interview based on DQ or I-130 priority date? So they schedule based, so once they're processing your application, it means that your priority date is current. So they do it based on DQ, which means you're documentarily qualified. So it means your priority date is current. You're at the top of the wait list. Now they're processing your case. And the goal is of the NVC is to gather all your documents. So when they have all your documents, they are going to designate you as documentarily qualified. Then that means that you have to just wait for them to schedule the interview. So it's based on being documentarily qualified. But after you're documentarily qualified, you have to wait then for an opening for an interview. And you have to wait for your turn because there are still people in line to get the interview. So um, So I'm on J1 right now and I'm on music branch. Do you know how I can stay? So it depends on your qualifications. Um, My wife is waiting for an interview in Sierra Leone, USCIS and Visa Center. So, yes, it's a waiting game. As long as you are documentarily qualified, at that point, they'll schedule the interview. So, all the best and hopes that's going to come very soon. Uh, I faithfully pay my taxes with cleaning jobs. Uh, I do over here. Can I qualify for the work permit? Not just by just paying taxes is not, you're doing the right thing, but and by the way, that can still benefit you paying taxes. For example, with this parole in place program, if you've been paying taxes for the past couple of years, it can go towards showing that you have had continuous residence in the United States. So it's good to pay taxes here because it means that one, you're complying with the law, you work hard, you are law abiding, and it can go towards good moral character, where good moral character is a requirement, and it can show things like this that you've been living here in the US. It's proof you've been here. Now, what I say is get in touch with us so we can talk to you about what the work you're doing, whether you can have there you face circumstances where you can get relief for your hard work and based on the circumstances you've experienced here. That's the way that we look for alternatives. Question: for parole in place, does someone who was married to a US citizen in 2008, have two children, 15 and 13, and now divorced? Can they apply for the program? No, you have to be currently married to the US citizen. I-485 still pending. What will happen next? So if the I-130 is approved, I-485 is still pending. They may still be looking for something, um, a requirement that still hasn't been met. So you may get a request for evidence. You may get a notice of intent to deny, or it might just be backed up and they're waiting to review your I-485 before they approve it. So I'd say it's a waiting game right now to see what's going to happen with that. Um, I came here on a boat. What is the best thing for me to do to get my papers? So it depends on what the circumstances are. This is where it's very important to schedule the appointment. Now, if you're married to a US citizen and you've been married as of June 17, 2024, you've been here for the past 10 years, of course, the parole in place would be an option, but I don't see all of that here. So this is where the appointment with me or one of the attorneys at ST Law Office is going to be important. Uh, I currently have an asylum application with the USCIS along with my daughter who is in college. She needs to for school for a study abroad program. What travel document does she need? So you can only apply for one type of travel document. And yes, it is possible to get the parole. I would say it's risky. Definitely, get legal advice because traveling while you have a pending asylum, even though you get the travel document, remember asylum is based on you saying you have no other options, no other safe places. So if you have a pending asylum and then you go for an extensive a long trip into another country, that may raise some questions about alternatives that you possibly have to seek safety. So I would just be very wary about any kind of study abroad programs leaving the US while you have a pending asylum. If someone came to the US, they stayed for 5 months just visiting, not working, they go back to their country, how long can they return? So, in cases where they see that you come back very quickly and then you stay for another lengthy time, they can get very suspicious. And I've seen where they've accused people of working and then revoke their visa. So give it some time. Usually, where people travel maybe once a year, they don't usually have issues. Once a year, and it's, every year it's not the full 6 months. um, they don't have an issue. But where they start to see you leave the country, then try to come back in short order, that can be a major problem. Did you answer my question about siblings filing adjustment of status within the US? Yes, 14 years. And if you're here for 14 years, chances are you can't maintain your status for 14 years. So you wouldn't be able to apply for adjustment of status. And so it's not a quick path to the green card. It's 14 years, and adjustment of status probably isn't going to be an option. If a person came through the border, can they get legal status? Yes, but we need to talk to you about one of those ways. Um, how long does it take for I-130 to be approved? It can be anywhere from 9 months to 2 years, just depending on what application you filed for. Do you handle EB2 processes? Yes, we do. So EB2 under the national interest waiver. Yes, we do, where you self-petition for the green card based on exceptional ability or an advanced degree. And I'll probably do a whole live on it so that we can talk about that as well. Very important, you're going for national interest waiver. You don't overstay your visa. You won't qualify for national interest waiver or the EB2 if you overstay your time. I'm interested in moving to the US permanently. I have a visitor's visa. What are my options differently from marriage? Only a sibling. So this is where we need to talk in a consultation. All right, that's going to be it for me today. Oh, wait, let me see. I have some more questions here on YouTube. What's going on with I-751 these days? So not much, still a lot lengthy processing times. But one tip that I wanted to give you today is if you have applied for the I-751 and it's taking a while and now it's time, you can now apply for citizenship, but this I-751 is pending. You can still go ahead, and we help our clients with this. You can go ahead and apply for citizenship, and what the USCIS may do is that nudges them to do one appointment. They evaluate your green card application, and then all being well, they want to approve it, they approve it, and jump straight into the citizenship application in the same interview. So you can actually go get your green card and get your citizenship all in one interview. That's one way that you can nudge it along. The processing times right now is 2 to 4 years. So if you're in that situation, you want to start looking at possibly applying for citizenship to just fast track everything, get in touch with us and let's work on that. What happened if I receive prima facie and then I apply for EAD and advanced parole? Nothing. So you just have to wait for your EAD and advanced parole. Prima facie is there to help you get certain benefits, get your ID, get your driver's license in certain states with that prima facie. Any option for 9 years overstayed visa with ADHD child, US citizen? No, but you may be able to get medical deferred action based on having your child and the needs and the fact that your child needs you to be here. Get in touch with us. We've successfully applied for the medical deferred action, so we can help with that. So EAD for when you're applying under VAWA takes about 6 to 12 months. Can a person who applied for VAWA reconcile with abusive spouse? Eligible for PIP? Will it impact VAWA case if remained open on site? So this question here, what I would say is based on what I have reviewed, they're not saying anything about requiring the bona fides of the marriage. But I think it inherently, It's just natural that if an officer sees that there's some questions about the bona fides of the marriage, that they may have questions or they may request further proof that the marriage is bona fide. So it all depends here. Some of my clients are still with living with their spouses, even though they're going for VAWA, and that's okay. It's okay to do that. Um, so there's so many issues that we'd have to sift through here. As far as I can see, PIP doesn't straight up ask for bona fides, but when you're applying for VAWA, you have to be very careful about applying for something else that could possibly contradict your VAWA petition. For example, in your VAWA petition, if you're separated, your spouse has a restraining order because they abused you, then you're filing a PIP showing that you're a married couple and that everything is good, and or based on the documentation, everything looks good, that can cause further complications for your VAWA. So I would say it is very risky to move forward with PIP at the same time you're going for VAWA. But what I would say here, by the way, is VAWA also leads directly to the green card. Furthermore, PIP is there to give you permission to be here, get you the work permit, and then also fix your situation so you can file for adjustment of status. VAWA does the same thing. So I don't see where there is an additional benefit to go for PIP when you're already applying for VAWA, right? Because VAWA offers you protection, gives you the work permit, gives you the travel document, leads you directly to the green card, and you have full control over your process without involving that spouse or that relative. Even better, PIP, you have to go through multiple steps. First, you have to apply for PIP. Then, when you get approved, you apply for your work permit. So that's already multiple steps that you're taking. Then you have to apply after that for adjustment of status. But haven't you already done that with VAWA? So, I really don't think submitting, I would have to talk to you, of course. Keep in mind, this is general information, but based on my experience, it's so duplicative, right? It's duplicative. VAWA does the same thing, offers you even more protections, fixes your situation. And PIP, it's a multi-step process. So, you know, it's like six and a half dozen. All right, that's gonna be it for me today. Thanks everyone for your time. I have to head out. I will be back tomorrow, so please look out for me. I'm aiming to get on here at 12:30 tomorrow. So look out for me, but as always, follow, like, subscribe, so that at any point that I get on here, you'll see and you'll be able to join me. Thanks again, everyone. Have a good one. Bye-bye.